There was a little bit of actual transfer news that we can cover here. It's what everybody's been wanting to hear about. Tight end coming in. Was it McAllen Castles? What an awesome name. A kid out of UC Davis, 6'5", 230 pounds or something, like a big old boy. Coming in. And have you seen analysis on this kid? Is this a presumed immediate contribute? Because I think he's I think it's a grad transfer or something. So is it presumed? Is he a depth piece? Have you seen the analysis there?
I've seen a little, and I think somebody mentioned, I cannot remember where I saw this or how accurate it was, but somebody mentioned that one of his coaches at UC Davis thought that going into the season last year that he was a mid-round NFL draft pick already, that he was that type of talent. So seems like if he's that
Mm.
talented, Tennessee clearly is going to have a need at tight end. Princeton Fant is gone. Miles Campbell's in the transfer portal. We don't know if Jacob Warren is going to be back yet or not. I do wonder if Alex Golish being his position coach, if that impacts his decision. He's got one more year, I believe, of eligibility remaining because of the COVID year. So Warren could choose to come back. Even if he does come back, Tennessee still needs depth there, especially with Princeton Fant leaving as big of a player contributor as he ended up being. So I think it's a pretty big pickup for Tennessee. You really think about the secondary, wide receiver, some of those positions where Tennessee needs to get some guys in the portal, but and the offensive line. But this was equally as important, in my opinion.
Looking at his stats, 30 receptions, 347 yards. That's a really efficient rate. 12 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns
And
on the
tight end
season.
stats are so hard to kind of go off of and evaluate and use that to evaluate a player because we've seen some really. I mean, Jason Witten. Go back and look at his stats at Tennessee. They don't scream like potential future Hall of Famer type numbers in the NFL, but that he ended up being a great NFL player. So sometimes the stats don't tell the full story of a tight end.
Yeah, well, and you look and size wise, I mean, this says 6'5", 233. I don't know how up to date ESPN is here.
Yeah, I saw 6'6", 245 was the updated what I saw.
Okay. So he grew an inch apparently and gained weight. I mean, I think for blocking, because that's a whole part of this too. Like in Heupel's system, your tight ends, they're almost with Princeton Fant, he was an offensive lineman, a running back, a fullback, a wide receiver, and a tight end. He
He
did
got it. I mean,
all of that.
he scored touchdowns. I tweeted out a clip of his first receiving touchdown last night because it was such a great throw by Hendon Hooker, and it was just kind of going back through some of the season stuff last night. And that was he ran for touchdowns and threw for a touchdown before he even caught a touchdown this year. He truly was like a jack of all trades for Tennessee, and really not to go too far down this road, but Princeton Fant shows how Heupel molds his offense to his personnel. We did not see any of that fullback run type stuff last year where they're breaking out those fullback runs on the goal line. We didn't see any of that last year. And then Princeton Fant, he gets more comfortable in the system. Heupel and Golish and the staff see ways they can use him, and they molded their offense to his abilities. So that's just another check mark by Josh Heupel's name on how he can evolve and the way he is evolving.
Fall is in the air, and that means fall grilling with cookouts, tailgate parties, and so much more. Luckily, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall with their mouth-watering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra juicy burgers, and easy to prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. And now is the perfect time to load up on all this incredible flavor and take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their friends and family sale. Go to omahasteaks.com and use my promo code Vols, that is VOLS, at checkout and get $30 off your order. And guys, I've said it in these ads for weeks now. I've had all of the stuff from Omaha Steaks. I can't endorse it enough. Everything has been high quality. It comes right to your door, so easy and convenient, and I mean, most importantly, tasty. So I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. So don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com and stock up today. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. And don't forget to score that extra $30 off your order when you use Vols at checkout, VOLS. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights. You won't come close to getting this kind of quality at the grocery store. Visit omahasteaks.com. Promo code VOLS at checkout. Minimum order may be required. Omaha Steaks. Yeah, it really has been impressive to watch all the folds that they keep putting in here. And um, that's where I'm hoping like Alex Golish wasn't the main guy coming up with all of that, and I don't think that was the case. But who knows exactly how all of that goes down? Because were you the one that mentioned that it was like a GA that came up with the hidden Hyatt play?
Oh, one of them, somebody mentioned it. Uh, Hooker Hyatt, maybe somebody mentioned it during the press conference after that Missouri game, and that's the player you're talking about, where they kind of hit him behind the guard there and popped him out in like a little wheel route, and he's just wide open for 65-yard touchdown or whatever it was. So it's definitely a collaboration, and I don't know if people saw the clip of Alex Golish talking about his relationship with Josh Heupel this week when he was introduced down at USF, but he talked about how Heupel was huge for him and how there was no ego between them. There was just trust, and that's part of why it worked out so well, which is refreshing to hear, especially after Jeremy Pruitt, when he was at Tennessee, kind of meddling in the offense and trying to tell Jim Chaney what to do, calling plays that the team hadn't practiced that made Jarrett Garantano's life even more difficult at the time. And Pruitt really had no business doing any of that as a defensive guy. Heupel, one of the most innovative offensive minds in college football, is open to hearing suggestions from grad assistants. I mean, that tells you what kind of person he is and what kind of coach, and why I think this system works so well, because he's confident, but he's not an I'm the smartest guy in the room type person either.
Yeah, it's why I don't really worry at all about this OC hire that might ultimately end up being only a tight ends coach hire, depending on what he chooses to do. But yeah, I think he's willing to work with whatever he has to work with to make this thing run correctly. And I've always said about like Nick Saban. Now he's not as much of a collaborator like that. He's an iron-fisted coach, but the thing that has made him so great for so long is that he's willing to innovate. He's willing to when his offense started getting stale, he went and got Lane Kiffin and was willing to let in a spread offense, and obviously it won him multiple championships after that happened. And so to have a coach that will roll with the punches and listen to input and try to get better in that way, I think it's incredible, and hopefully it means great things for the future. But there was one other?
It's two. Well, one's a portal, one's a JUCO guy.
Oh, that's right. So the JUCO was Larry Johnson the third, an offensive tackle, and then what was the last one?
The kicker.
Charles right.
Campbell.
Yes. I don't have that one up in front of me.
Yeah, so Campbell is from Jackson, Tennessee, so it's kind of like a homecoming from him. He was at Indiana for 5 seasons. He was at Indiana, or 4 or 5 seasons. He's like their number 8 all-time kicker at Indiana. 75%, 76% of his kicks he's made, which is the exact same percentage as Chase McGrath. So you're pretty much just moving McGrath out, moving this guy in. He's hit a couple of 50-yard field goals in a bowl game against Ole Miss a couple of years ago. So, got a good leg. Grad transfer that kind of steps into that role. That's going to be your kicker next year.
No, that's awesome. That's how they got McGrath from USC, and he came in and beat Alabama for you. So,
yeah, legend. That dude's a legend forever, no matter what.
Exactly.
Happened. And he had some good kicks at USC too before he transferred. So he can go to Los Angeles, Knoxville, wherever he's probably going to be set up pretty good.
Yeah, so that's good news. Obviously, we'll be keeping our ear to the ground, but I like the tight end pickup. That was on offense. Yeah. That's easily the biggest position of need to me. Kind of wide receiver, running back at this point might be gravy. I mean, you saw that rumor where it was Ohio State fans freaking out. That's where I saw it, where they think that Tennessee is trying to get Dallin Hayden to come back to Tennessee, and God Almighty, I hope that's true. That would be so amazing.
Yeah, you truly never know. I remember when the Cade Mays stuff first started kind of being rumored. I mean, I guess just being following Tennessee for so long, you assume that, especially over the 10 years before that, you assume nothing good like that would happen. So I immediately dismissed the Cade Mays stuff when it first, before it really caught traction. When I first heard about it, I was like, yeah, I seriously doubt that happens. And then it did. So, this Hayden stuff, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of traction as far as things really happening behind the scenes at this time. It seems like it's just rumors, but at the same time, I mean, you never know. They got Cade Mays back. Maybe they pull something out here too.
I mean, who knows if his dad, Aaron
Yeah.
Hayden, great VFL running back at Tennessee, uh, might be in his ear a little bit. Hey, you're third. He's third string right now at Ohio State. I think next year, I don't know their exact setup. I think next year he'd be second string.
Yeah.
Um, unless he took that job, he could be like, hey, at Tennessee, you'll automatically be the best guy there, which is as good as everybody's been. And I really like that running back room. Like, don't get me wrong, he would basically automatically be the best guy in that room if he showed up. So, hey, Aaron, maybe talk to your son. Just get him to come here. We whipped on both of them so far. Whipped on both of his kids. So yeah, come on
Josh
down.
Heupel's got to be the busiest. I mean, I know every college coach is going through this right now, but obviously we talk about Tennessee, so Heupel's got to be one of the busiest people in the country right now. You're managing your signing class, these visits. I mean, he's out to see Nico earlier this week with Joey Hosley, the quarterbacks coach. You're trying to deal with the portal stuff. He's flying to Miami yesterday to do a press conference that lasted about 15 to 20 minutes with Dabo, and there was really no great questions asked. It was awkward. Heupel just kind of sat there stone face most of the time, listening to Dabo ramble on about Y2K and Chevy Chase and all kinds of random things that had no business in that press conference. But I don't see how he has time to get anything done. He's got to have a lot of great staff around him to go get this tight end out of the portal while he's jet setting all over the country. It's a lot to manage, but it seems like he's doing a pretty good job of it. And that's the stuff, being a head coach, that you don't think about. You think about those 3 hours on Saturday, but it's managing all of this stuff they have to do in the month of December when games aren't being played, keeping up with all that and doing it right. That's where programs are built. That's where championships, the beginnings of championships, are won. So seems like he's doing a pretty good job managing all that.
Yeah, it's almost like if you were an accountant, you do all the groundwork that leads up to tax season. And you have tax season, and it's you work 80-hour weeks, and then you go back. And I guess with football, it's 80-hour weeks when it's not in season, and then it's like 100-hour weeks in season. I don't know how they do it. God bless the people that decide to coach college football. It's a brutal profession. But yeah, dude, Dabo. Yes, I watched that press conference after you were texting us about it. So I was like, I'll flip it on, and he was like, I remember 1999, and it was Y2K. The world was supposed to end, and I was just like, what are you talking about?
His
Shut up.
Like Crompton saying that is hilarious, because I think anybody that's not a Clemson fan has to feel that way. His golly gee, good old boy persona, knowing some of the things he said, some of the ways he's been hypocritical and contradicts himself, talking about players getting paid and the portal and all this stuff, and knowing the way he recruits. I've never liked that. You commit, you can't take visits anywhere else. It's just, I don't like it. It's all about him. I mean, when he runs out 30 feet in front of the team like he's Usain Bolt trying to book it out to midfield, so all the attention's on him. I mean, that is who he is. I mean, that's something we laugh at, but it truly is telling. He's all about himself. So
yeah, he's a dork. Freaking
that too.
Dabo. I think that is all. Just trying to think if anything else had happened.
I'm sure it has, but
I mean, it's been a lot of the people at ESPN. This was just a little bit ago. The people at ESPN completely. They wrote a literal falsehood on ESPN's main page. I looked; it was on the front page. It was like that Brittany Griner story, and then the article about
before Brittany Griner thing happened. It was the main story.
Yeah. And they wrote about college football awards. They wrote about the Blitnikoff, which should be won by Jalen Hyatt. And they said that Marvin Harrison Jr. leads the nation in touchdowns with 12. Well, that's funny, ESPN, because Jalen Hyatt had 15 touchdowns. So I'm not sure how he would lead the nation.
Yeah, I think there's actually some people between Hyatt and Harrison, in fact.
Yeah, so crazy. Bill Martin, the SID for the football team. I think Zach, You were the one that noticed this, at least that I saw. You were the first person I saw mention it. And then it blows up from your tweet. They start, everybody was just berating the guy that wrote it. And then the SID from Tennessee tweeted it out and was like, hey, ESPN, excuse me. Zach out here just causing, for Tennessee to go out and campaign. It's big time.
It's why Tennessee is so. I mean, I think it's why the fans are so into it. Every single day, there's something. Every day. I mean, it could be the middle of June, and there is something trending on Vol Twitter that something's happened or going to happen, whatever it is. I mean, it's the middle of December. No games will be played for 3 weeks, and there's still something to be upset about.
Always the joy of being a Tennessee fan. And the basketball team won last night. That was fun. And they're going to play Maryland this weekend, so that's big. Just side note there. All right. That is it, though, for this week. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this its own clip and then the Crompton interview its own thing. We're going to content the hell out all of this.
Yeah, there you go.
I am Charlie Burris. That is Zach Reagan. That was Jonathan Crompton. If you didn't see that, maybe I'll post this first. Let's do that. I'm making up a content strategy in my head. Gonna post this today, Thursday, and then we're gonna post the Jonathan Crompton thing on Friday. So look out for that on Friday, because his is a little more evergreen. It's a little more. We didn't talk about anything all that timely. So look out for the Jonathan Crompton interview Friday. What would that be? Friday, December 9th on the A to Z Sports channels. So look out for that. Charlie Burris, Zach Reagan. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
See you guys later.